Hey, it's Concord Wind. I'm so awkward. Like, I just had a realization just now that I'm really awkward because, there's people in this neighborhood that I know. I mean, they're like acquaintances, and I help people out around here sometimes. But for the most part, people walk by me and I don't even say hi, and they don't say hi. I guess we're all kind of awkward. I mean, but a lot of people talk to each other, but I'm like, I'm a little bit of an outcast. I don't mind it though. I'm I don't care about like making friends or fitting in or whatever. Like that's level 4 consciousness. I'm past that already. I was at level 4 there for a while. I wanted to find a place I could fit in. I wanted to feel like I belonged, but I'm past that now. Like that was my alarm going off. I had to turn it off. Um, I am in a good place, mentally and spiritually and everything. And I had another little debate with my friend this morning, and uh, it was I mean, it went well, I guess. I mean, I think, I don't know if she understands where I'm coming from or not, but I just really and truly, with all my heart, I believe God understands me, and I believe He understands like my flaws and stuff, and I think He understands the reason for my flaws. But we didn't read God's words this morning. Um, so the passage I had prepared for my last video, I suppose I could read that. Um, God says, because there are always new developments in God's work, there is work that becomes obsolete and old as new work arises. These different types of work, old and new, are not contradictory, but complementary. Each step follows from the last. Because there is new work, the old things must, of course, be eliminated. For example, some of the long established practices and habitual sayings of man, coupled with man's many years of experience and teachings, have formed all manner and form of notions in the mind of man. That God has yet fully to reveal his true face and inherent disposition to man, along with the spread over many years of traditional theories from ancient times, have been yet more propitious to man's formation of such notions. It may be said that, over the course of man's belief in God, the influence of various notions has led to the continual formation and evolution of all sorts of notional understandings of God and people, which has caused many religious people who serve God to become his enemies. So the stronger people's religious notions are, the more they oppose God, and the more they are the enemies of God. The work of God is always new and never old, and never forms doctrine, instead changing continually and being renewed to a greater or lesser extent. Working in this way is an expression of the inherent disposition of God himself. It is also the inherent principle of God's work, and one of the means by which God accomplishes his management. If God did not work in this way, man would not change or be able to know God, and Satan would not be defeated. Thus, in his work, changes continually occur that appear erratic, but which are actually periodic. The way in which man believes in God, however, is quite different. He clings to old, familiar doctrines and systems, and the older they are, the more palatable they are to him. How could the foolish mind of man, a mind that is as intransigent as stone, accept so much unfathomable new work and words of God? Man abhors the God who is always new and never old. He likes only the old God, who is long of tooth, white of hair, and stuck in place. Thus, because God and man each have their own likes, man has become the enemy of God. Many of these contradictions still exist today, at a time when God has been doing new work for almost 6,000 years. They are, then, beyond remedy. Perhaps it is because of the stubbornness of man, or the inviolability of God's administrative decrees by any man. But these clergymen and women still cling to moldy old books and papers, while God carries on with his uncompleted work of management, as if he had no one by his side. Though these contradictions make enemies of God and man, and are even irresolvable, God pays them no heed, as if they were at once there and not there. Man, however, still sticks by his beliefs and notions, and never lets go of them. Yet one thing is self-evident. Even though man does not deviate from his stance, God's feet are always moving, and he is always changing his stance according to the environment. In the end, it is man who will be defeated without a fight. God, meanwhile, is the greatest enemy of all his defeated foes, and is also the champion of mankind, defeated and undefeated alike. Who can compete with God and be victorious? Man's notions seem to come from God because many of them were born in the wake of God's work. However, God does not forgive man because of this, nor moreover does he pour praise on man for producing batch after batch of products for God, in the wake of his work that are outside of his work. Instead, he is extremely disgusted by man's notions and old pious beliefs, and does not even have a mind to acknowledge the date on which these notions first emerged. He does not accept at all that these notions are caused by his work, for the notions of man are spread by man. Their source is the thoughts and mind of man, not God, but Satan. God's intention has always been for his work to be new and alive, not old and dead. And when he has man adhere to various what he has man adhere to varies with the age and period, and is not everlasting and immutable. This is because he is a God who causes man to live and be new, rather than a devil who causes man to die and be old. Do you still not understand this? You have notions about God, are incapable of letting go of them because you are closed-minded. It is not because there is too little sense within God's work, nor because the work of God diverges from human wishes, nor, moreover, is it because God is always negligent in his duties. You cannot let go of your notions because you are too lacking in obedience, and because you have not the slightest likeness of a created being. It is not because God is making things difficult for you. You caused all of this, and it bears no relation at all to God. All suffering and misfortune is created by man. God's thoughts are always good. He does not wish to cause you to produce notions, but wishes for you to change and be renewed as the age passes. Yet you do not know what is good for you, and are always either scrutinizing or analyzing. It is not that God is making things difficult for you, but that you have no reverence for God, and your disobedience is too great. A tiny created being, daring to take some trivial part of that which was previously given by God, then turning around and using it to attack God, is this not the disobedience of man? Humans, it is fair to say, are utterly unqualified to express their views before God, and less still are they qualified to parade around their worthless, stinking, rotten, flowery language as they wish. To say nothing of those moldy notions, are they not even more worthless? Amen. So that goes back to what I was saying in the previous video. There's levels of consciousness. Obviously psychology is flawed. So like level 9 and level 8 can be achieved at the same time, which isn't, that's not expressed in the chart. The chart doesn't show like achieving multiple levels at the same time, which is very possible. And in fact necessary, because level 8 and level 9 are necessary. And because level 9 is submission to God, and level 8 is being edifying towards your brothers and sisters. And level 9 doesn't take into account cooperation with God, which should be included there, and it's not. And instead, cooperation with God is more along the lines of level 7 and level 8. But cooperation with God is a big deal, and it requires, effort on the part of man. And level 9 presumes no effort involved, which is supposed to be the highest level, and that just sounds lazy. So, Job obviously was level 9, but he also cooperated with God and feared God and shunned evil. He made burnt offerings on behalf of himself and his family. So he was also level 8. And, I'll have to share a picture maybe on a post of the levels, but I explained them pretty well in the previous video. So yeah, my friend, she is at level 6 presumably, because and that doesn't make me better than her just because I'm at a higher level of consciousness. It just means, you know, I've been practicing the truth, and I know there's more truth I know of to practice because she hasn't read as much of God's words as I have, so her understanding is limited to the amount of God's words she's read, and she still goes back to the Bible and stuff, and so she's kind of religious, but whatever. I mean, I'm doing my best to try to lead her onto the right path because I really care about her, I care about my family, I care about my friends, I care about my viewers. I want to lead all of you guys onto the right path. I'm doing my best. I just want to contribute to your spiritual lives. If I had it my way, well, it doesn't matter. I just care about God's will being done. My way doesn't really matter. I feel really tingly. I took 2 more Optogen HP pills, which was 75 more milligrams of ashwagandha, because I was feeling kind of anxious, and I noticed the dose that I've been taking, which is the regular dose, hasn't been getting rid of my anxiety. And even this dose, even taking the extra 75, which I'm going to cap it there. I don't want to take any more than that. I want to be very careful with this stuff, of course. But I know that up to 1,000 milligrams of ashwagandha is considered safe, though nutritionists recommend keeping it between 300 and 600. So I took a total of 725, which is below 1,000, and it's pretty close to 600. And I only took the extra 75 milligrams to try to get rid of the anxiety I had from the coffee, and it hasn't helped, but I feel tingly all over, so whatever. This stuff is crazy. Caffeine and ashwagandha and cordyceps and the other stuff too, like beta alanine. It's just it's all trying to find a balance, but it's so hard because I'm building a tolerance to everything, and I still got to get through the whole day. It's still morning. That's crazy. I'll probably feel better as the day goes on, though. It kind of makes me want to not drink coffee, but it helps me wake up. But maybe I need to just keep it at 1. But I think even 1 shot of coffee gives me anxiety, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if it's anxiety. It's just butterflies in my stomach. I think my sister said that is anxiety, but my mom said it's not, so I don't know. It's just butterflies in my stomach, so yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's no big deal. I can get through it. I get through it every day, And maybe I'll feel better after I use the bathroom, because I do have to use the bathroom. So let's go ahead and end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. And remember, follow the footsteps of God. Keep up with the new work. Don't stay stuck in the past. Amen. All right. Bye-bye.